see something that was just terrible is the contracts that we're finding, the fraudulent contracts that we're finding where millions and millions of dollars and even billions of dollars in some cases were given out. And well, I think we'll start with that. I'd like to start with Doug Burgum, Secretary of the Interior. He told us about a couple of contracts that we have now found. When he got there, they saw this with Chris and everybody, and they couldn't believe it. Doug, could you just relate what you told us a little while ago?
No, happy to, Mr. President. There's a federal consulting group, which was a group inside of Interior, but it was managing contracts from many different agencies that flowed through here. One of those contracts was to do surveys of individuals, $830 million for surveys. And so part of the question was, hey, could we actually see the surveys? And then the surveys came back, and a survey was like 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper with 10 questions that anyone's child in junior high could have put together, or AI could have done for free. $830 million. So that's one that we've stopped. And that contract was going out after you were inaugurated, sir. So it was
so
jumping.
It's a pure fraud.
Yeah.
It's a fraud. But we've had many fraudulent contracts that were caught by the work that Elon and his people are doing and working with our people. It's been brought to light that the fraud, not just waste and abuse, the fraud has been incredible.
Well,
you mentioned one, Madam Secretary.
Well, yes, sir. Well, let me just add to that, and thank you. We just had a wonderful cabinet meeting, all aligned on certainly the effort to realign the government. But even at the U.S. Department of Agriculture, we've canceled a $300,000 contract educating on food justice for queer and transgender farmers in San Francisco. A similar contract we canceled in New York, again, educating transgender and queer farmers on food justice and food equality. I'm not even sure what that means, but apparently the last administration wanted to put our taxpayer dollars towards that. We canceled a $600,000 contract out of Louisiana that was studying the menstrual cycles of transgender men, a $600,000 contract. We canceled another contract out of a university in the middle of the country that focused on getting more diversity, equity, and inclusion into our pest management industry. Again, these are nonsensical. It makes zero sense to use taxpayer dollars to fund these. I know these are just a few examples of the hundreds and hundreds that we have found.
Well, a clear case of fraud was with the Small Business Administration, where they were handing out loans, $330 million worth of loans to people under the age of 11. I think the youngest, Kelly, was a 9-month-old who got a $100,000 loan. It's a very precocious baby we're talking about here.
$100,000 loan. Unbelievable.
And
they wouldn't give me a loan for $500.
Hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud go unprosecuted. So we're taking that on. We have a zero tolerance policy for fraud, and we continue to crack down on it and make sure people are held accountable.
And you have a lot of that. You found far too much of it. It's a pure fraud. We like to use the words waste and abuse because they sort of sound good, but many of these things are pure fraud. Now, there was a contract that you've heard about where Stacey Abrams got $2 billion just before we took over, and it was a rush to get her the money, and that was environmental, and nobody knows what she was doing. But $2 billion. If you got $2 million, that's a lot. If you got 200,000, that's a lot. But this was $2 billion was given. Lee, do you want to talk about that? And the other one that was even worse?
EPA has now canceled over $22 billion worth of contracts. $2 billion going to this NGO that Stacey Abrams was tied to. They received only $100 in 2023. And then the Biden administration gave them $2 billion. The director of the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund saw his former employer get $5 billion. So $20 billion went to just 8 NGOs, and they're all pass-throughs. And then they were giving it to other entities. Many of them were pass-throughs. And what you have is all these extra middlemen, they're taking their cut. And the taxpayer ends up getting screwed. They're losing out on all this hard-earned money. They can't afford to have the federal government waste. The partnership with Doge and Elon Musk has been incredible at EPA. Their team is very talented. We wouldn't have been able to do it without them. And of course, this mandate from President Trump. to make sure that we identify every last penny, whether we're saving $50,000, $5 million, or $22 billion. We will not rest until every last penny is saved. Thank you, Mr. President.
I cannot believe I was rejected for the $17 trillion I needed for the leave problem I have out here. I'm getting attacked by leaves. I got trees everywhere around here, Mr. Trump. How dare these people? How dare that? Leaves can be very dangerous, especially if they're on the road. You can lose traction when you're on your motorcycle. All these motorcycle guys are getting really upset, Mr. Trump. They're like, you can't even cut grass. We can't even cut our yards and have grass blow on the street out here because the bikers said it's dangerous for them to be driving on it. And I asked for 17 trillion to try and stop this problem, but they didn't give a crap. They said, nope. Well, they wanted to give the 2 billion to some gas release. I don't know. We all got gas. Every time I eat a Taco Bell, I got gas. This is too much for me. I can't deal with this crap. Does Joe Rogan know about this? Somebody get a hold of him, see what the hell is going.
For the opportunity to do this for the American public.
Great job, you know. So we have a lot of that. We're getting down to a point we think probably over the next 2 or 3 months we'll be pretty much satisfied with the people that are working hard and want to be members of the administration and our country, really. And they're doing a lot of good people. We have a lot of great people. We want to keep the good ones. And we want to get rid of the ones that don't exist. And we want to get rid of the ones that do exist but don't work. And we have quite a few of them. Would anybody else like to say something before we take some questions from the press, please? Doug Collins.
You can't do that. The reason they're not working is because they're on disability. Because in certain states, the law states you can't work. And if you can work, nobody's going to hire you because you're disability. And then that's the kickback. See, I got it all up here, Mr. Trump. The kickback is these businesses for hiring us idiots, disabled, whatever you want to call them. Well, you labeled us, not us. The businesses get a kickback from what? The government for hiring these people. They get tax cuts. So I got it all figured out. I'm dumb. Mr. Trump was right. If a half-baked idiot with half a brain and a steel plate in his head could figure out that they've been screwing us from day one, then we're in deep crap. And I think everybody is saying, get your waiters out. Let's see what Debbie said. They gave a loan to a 6-month-old. Sorry, Johnny. Yeah. And I had a perfect plan. I needed 17 trillion. I was going to clean up the roads and all these leaves and grass. And I even did a film, the show. I sent it to the White House. Look at this. I had leaves everywhere. The leaves are falling. I'm getting attacked. I need some money. I need backup. Send me air vac, something. They wouldn't send me none necessary, Mr. Kramer. It's just not about. Don't you know the bikers are mad? What? The bikers? They can't drive on the road because it's danger. And then they were like, we might be able to come up with something, but right now, no. But we had no idea. Yeah, you can't. You got leaves on the road. The bikers are complaining. They're driving too fast, and the leaves will lose traction in the grass. And we can't even cut the grass because I had a whole bunch of bikers pull up one day when I was over. Someone's out cutting the grass, and I was cutting the grass, and it blew out into the street, and they were like, whoa. They pulled up and they were like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm cutting this old lady's grass. Why? What's the problem? You better pick all that up, mister. I'm going to bust your ass. I'm like, hey, you punks, get on your tricycles and pedal on out of here. They're like, what? And I got my ass beat that day, but it was well worth it because I stood up for the American people. You people don't run the roads. Let's get back to our video.
Yeah, Mr. President, I think one of the
things that you've always told me is take care of our veterans, and that's what we're doing at the VA. And one of the things is you also have to know who your employees are. You have to know the very fact of who you are. We're 470,000 roughly when we started this, larger than the active duty Army, when you think about that in the perspective. But however, this is an interesting point. When I first got there and we started looking at this, how you take care of people, we didn't have an HR system that could actually give us a rundown on who actually was working where. That we've had to work with that, working with our VA employees who are those liaisons. We've been able to put together an organizational chart, which we can start looking at that. But the interesting part about it is about taking care of veterans and what you've.
What's interesting is the lump on the back of this guy's head. I don't know who he is, this bald gentleman, but he's got a lump on the back of his head. I want you to get him into the hospital and test it, see if it's a malignant tumor. If we need to cut it out, he could be a cyborg planted within the United States Oval Office. Somebody do something with half a brain. Do something. I got a half a brain and I'm smarter than that. They could be cyborgs, Trump. Don't you understand, Debbie? This is not funny, young lady. This is serious stuff. Don't you know, Mr. Trump, that our technology has come so far? Yes. Yes, I created a cyborg along with the F-86, the F-88, and the F-87. And I needed a cyborg to fly it, Mr. Trump, because there's no humans that can fly and sustain the gravity and the G-force. I can't do this anymore. Do I have to do everything in this country? Do I have to do everything in this country? I think I do. But there you go. I'm sure you're going to have a lot more accidents in America when you didn't give me the 17 trillion to do leave cleanup out here and road cleanup for these guys, because they're going to be pissed at me, but they're going to be sliding all over the place. And I don't care. I did my job. Yeah, I got my ass kicked, but I'm back, Jack. And that's a fact. And there ain't nothing going to stop us now. So now I need more than 17 trillion. I need 200 billion. No, wait, 200 trillion. And well, what the heck? Let's even it off. $1 quadrillion to clean up this mess and all this leaves and grass all over the street. And we live in Amish country, so there's horse poo-poo on the street, folks. Be safe. Be safe. I know it's a mess when you roll over a giant horse crab poop. You get crap everywhere. It's like just sprays everywhere. Crap everywhere in the streets out there. You wanted to give me, I could have done that. Screw it. It's over. Screw it. When you denied me that 17 trillion quadrillion dollars that I filled out, and I ended up losing to a 6-month-old. That's my mod in chat. She has an AI implant brain chip. Do you understand, government, that she knows everything? She just pulled up the data. A 6-month-old got the 200 billion, and you refused to send me the 17 trillion, which was a drop in the hat to clean this mess up, and I can't do it no more. Let's continue with the video, please.
Told me to do is how do we get the people in the right places? And I think when we look at this, GAO has told us we were high risk for years. The previous administration put literally tens of billions of dollars and tens of thousand employees over the last 4 years. And we saw our statistics basically stay the same or go down. Backlogs went up. Maybe the question is not money and employees anymore. Maybe it's the organization and how we effectively deliver for the American people. That's what we're going to do.
Well said.
And, one thing I want to add to it, it is not necessarily a very popular thing to do. You're talking about employment, you're talking about people and the lives of people. And yet, I think the American public understands we're trying to save our country and make our country great again. I mean, you could say it, but we're trying to save our country from this extraordinary thing that was happening. What they were doing to our country was...
I agree. And I could not say, let's make our country great again, because I was under contract and I had a gag order on me. I was not allowed to say, let's make our country great again, that you people are full of crap and yada, yada, yada. I wasn't allowed to do that because I was punished. just like I was punished for telling the bikers to get on their tricycles and ride as I was cutting some old lady's lawn. But they didn't care. They whooped me down. They beat me good. And I give them credit because all three of them guys were bad mofos. Stunk like Bigfoots. Barely could move because their leathers were so crusted from driving. Wet, hot, cold, wet, hot, cold. They shrunk around their legs. They were turning purple and blue. They could barely stand up. I took one of them down, but the other ones got me in the back. It was an ass-kicking event, but we came to an agreement, right? I acknowledged them, and I did clean the grass off of the street, and they also acknowledged me that I was one bad little mofo, and they wanted me to join the club, and I was like, I can't. I'm under oath for this United States government, and I got a bunch of women that I have to impregnate because Elon Musk said that we are low on kids. So I got a big job to do. Let's get back to this movie. They curb stomped me. They tried to have anal, much like Brad on Katie's channel. When Brad was threatening Ernie, he was going to knock him out and then have anal sex on film in front of everybody. And that's what these bikers were doing. I'm like, I'll fight you guys. Only on if you sign this contract that after I do get knocked out, you're not going to film any kind of butt sex, right? They were like, all right, Kramer, we've known you for many years. You used to ride with us. I'm like, shh, don't tell anybody that. Nobody knows that I used to ride motorcycles. I was in no gang, but I was known to be crazy on a motorcycle. They did know me as Crazy Kramer way back when I used to ride wheelies down the street, passing people, passing Harley Davidson guys as I'm flipping them off on one wheel. Now, that's what I did, and I did it for my country. And don't let any of you be told any different. I did what I had to do for my country, and that yard and that older lady and gentleman, their yard needed to be cut. The grass needed to blow. I can't control the wind. The wind blew the grass onto the street. I can't control Mother Nature. Let's get back to this video. Let me see what Debbie said. Brad will give you a drive-by. Brad better never come around me. I got phone books right now that I just went down to the post office and got that I'll be taping to my backside. Don't you ever come around me, sicko.
Just a horrible thing. And I have no idea how it plays out in the public. I guess you see poll numbers that are very good numbers, but I don't know what that means long-term. But it's something that has to be done. If we don't do it, we're not going to have much of a country left, so we have to do it. So we're doing things that I think a lot of presidents wouldn't be inclined to do, but we're doing it to really, I don't want to use cliche. I don't want to say we're doing it to make America great again, because I say that on the campaign trail, but there's really no other words that could express it better than that. We're doing it to help our country, and our country was riddled with fat, like no country probably anywhere in the world, and we're getting rid of the fat. And at the same time, we're going to be bringing in millions of very good, high-paying jobs.
Mr. Trump, President Trump, if I may ask, sir, what are we doing with this fat? Because this fat we might be able to burn as energy, because fat has oils in it. So I don't know how or where you're storing all this fat that's going to be coming off of us, but we might be able to turn that into fuel or oil for heating or whatever. But don't throw away the fat, because we might be able to render it down and make some kind of a stock or soup out of it. I'm not sure yet, but don't do anything with the fat. Set the fat aside somewhere that we're chopping off, because we might be able to cook a soup out of it. We don't know. We got to eat. We don't know. We might be able to use it for fuel, candles. I'm not sure. Let's see what my mod is saying. Our generation don't fight like that. No, that's from a different world. a different time. I don't know. We used to just fight, throw hands, and when it was over, or the grudge went on for 20, 30, 40 years. Who knows? But that's different because now these guys are talking about knocking each other out and then having sex, filming it in front of everybody, charging tickets and food, concession stands, and then making a movie out of it. And I can't. I talked to Paramount. I talked to iRobot. I even went to Stinky Johnson, and he's like, I can't film that. Ernie Shell getting beat down and then knocked out and then screwed by Brad, the unbearable breaker of balls. I can't do that. They're like, no one's going to pick this film up. I was out. I said, I can't do it. I don't want to do it. There's no way I can film this. I got a reputation to keep. I got a situation I got to keep. I can't be doing this unknown soldier stuff and boo-fooing in the streets as people are watching this, and you're charging concession stand tickets and everything for this. I can't do it. I can't film it. No one will pick the movie up. I'm out. No, everybody got pissed, but that's the way it got to be. I'm sorry. There's just certain things that's in my contract right here. Oh, this contract, let me see. Page 28, paragraph 43. You are not allowed to film any sexual beatdown or anal screwing between a man and a man. Oh, God, they even fine me if I do it. $350,000. I can't do it, guys. I can't even. They owe me 173 trillion quadrillion already. I can't do this. They're taking money out of my pocket. And I'm up for a loan. I'm trying to get 17 trillion to clean these leaves out here. Keep falling off these things they call trees. And there's stuff all over that's green. And we're cutting it. It's getting on the sidewalk. People, I can't walk on the sidewalk. I might slip from the grass. And then we're going to have to sue everybody. I'm like, this is crazy. So I can't do it, guys. You're going to have to find someone else to do your script and your movie and everything. I'm sorry. He could, I gave Ernie Shell an optimum. We could do a Smokey Bandit 28. Never been done before, right? You got the hat already. All I need is the 79 Trans Am. That reminds me, Indiana, I would like my 79 Trans Am T-tops with the 403 motor that was in it, Oldsmobile motor. And I want my 1986 IROC back that was tune ported, also T-tops. Oh, no, that one didn't have T-tops. I want that back, too, because I had to get rid of everything to be on your program. That don't cover nothing, and I'm dying. So 17 trillion should cover this leap, brother. Let's put the paperwork in and see what we can do. God bless America. Let's get back to this. Debbie says, how do women fight go down now? I don't know, but I can't film that either. I can't film nothing with beating someone down in the street and then having anal sex with them as there's people watching in concession and stands. I'm talking, there was rumors that there was like 50, 60,000 tickets that were already being sold. I'm like, this can't happen. I'm sorry. There's rules against humanity and animals, right? You had a better chance of doing this to an animal and it being filmed and then put up, but I can't do it. Paramount can't do it. iRobot can't do it. Kramer Corporation, movie outstanding production company, they can't do it. No one can touch this. I don't want to touch it. You don't want to touch it. And that's it.
And we're going to be taking in a lot of money. Our country's going to be very strong. We've been ripped off by every country in the world, friend and foe. We were taken advantage of like nobody's ever seen. And you saw what happened today with Venezuela. We did something with Venezuela, which is long in the making, and it's very substantial. And we'll be announcing cars very shortly. And we already announced steel, as you know, and aluminum. We'll be announcing pharmaceuticals at some point in the not too distant, because we have to have pharmaceuticals. We don't make pharmaceuticals anymore in our country. And if we have problems like wars or anything else, we need steel, we need pharmaceuticals, we need aluminum, we need a lot of these things that we sort of don't make anymore. And yet we're equipped to do it all. So we'll be announcing some of these things in the very near future, not the long future, the very near future. And it'll bring in billions of dollars, billions and billions, and it'll bring in, maybe more importantly, jobs. It'll protect the jobs we have, and it's going to be really, really quite amazing. Chris, did you have something to say?
Yes, Mr. President. I want to say energy is the infrastructure that makes our country run and drives our national security. The Biden administration grew my department, the Department of Energy, by 20%, and expenditure much more than that, all in an effort to reduce the production of energy in the United States and to make energy more expensive. We are stewards of the American taxpayer dollars, right? That's the job of everyone around this table, led by you. We want to reverse that trajectory and care about every dollar an American taxpayer gives us, and are we using it for the benefit of Americans? Let me tell you one thing: huge growth in expenditures, huge growth in employee count. Puerto Rico, an American territory, had its electricity grid destroyed. They had billions of dollars in the Department of Energy to help Puerto Rico, yet they didn't spend that money, because that money would have meant more energy, more jobs, more prosperity in Puerto Rico. They wanted to have them as a poster child of wind and solar. This island should run on wind and solar. That just doesn't work. But they cared about politics more than the American people, and they didn't treat the dollars like they were their dollars. This table.
I don't know who this gentleman is that's talking, but that is a lie. Wind and solar do work. That's a lie. It does work. And when you got Doge, the man himself, Elon Musk, on Joe Rogan's, saying that all we would need is the size of one of these states' solar panel field, and we can power the whole government, the whole United States. Now, them are not my words. That's Doge, the DOGGDED, man himself, Elon Musk, saying that solar power does work, and wind power also. So this guy that's talking right now, asking these questions, I don't know who you are. I really don't. But I'll expect your resignation on my desk in the morning. You're fired. That's coming from Trump, because he hired me. And that's what I do. Let me get to my chat. I have a huge solar panel. Also, solar is great for camping. Solar power, if you have the batteries, if you have the technology, solar power, you don't even need a battery. It's just constant energy. Now, if you want to store that energy, then you will need batteries or some kind of holding tank to store this energy. But you can hook it right up and have consistent energy. Just you don't have a way to store it. And that's the problem. But we solved that problem. Our technology is here now. And this is possible. And I agree. Solar will help, especially at homes. When the power goes out, at least they will have solar to store or use. And during the day, the sun's out. Well, you don't need no lights on, right? At night, I mean, the only thing you really need to run is your water or your refrigerator to keep the food cool. Maybe a fan, a light, whatever. Let's get back to this video, but I'm just saying that's a lie. Yes, zombies are possible after all this madness. I would agree. I wouldn't doubt it if the 11-year-old that got $200 billion loan from the government created a bunch of zombies with that money. I wouldn't doubt it. And they released a lot of money into people's hands that should never had that money. For all we know, that money was used against us to kill us. It was used to do all kinds of bad things and also create zombies.
The team you have assembled, we're treating the American dollars like they're our dollars.
Thank you. You're doing a great job on energy, by the way. We have things happening with energy that will knock your socks off. Really amazing job. Howard, do you want to say a couple of words?
Well, what is so exciting is April 2nd is just around the corner, and that's American Liberation Day. That's the day when the rest of the world starts to treat America with respect. And your leadership, understanding how the rest of the world treats us and what balance and what fair trade finally is going to be, is going to take care of America. It's going to launch the External Revenue Service to start to build the power and prestige of America back. And I'm honored to be helping you on that course.
It's an interesting term, right? The External Revenue Service. We're going to take in a lot of money from the outside, and that's going to keep our taxes low. And I think getting a lot lower. It's going to be a lot of money, and that will, the external
Gas
take
right
care of the
now out
internal
here in this little
to a
town is
large extent. So I think
$3.30.
it's going to be a beautiful transformation. Linda, you might say a couple of words. You've done so amazing. It's a 50% cut. And more importantly, we want to bring education into the states. We're at the bottom of the pack, but we're the most expensive per pupil. And we want to bring education back to the states where they can teach the students lovingly with their parents and with the boards and everything else. And they'll be every bit as good as these other countries. These states, these individual states will do a phenomenal job. You want to say something?
Yes, sir. And if we think about education, if we don't address the issues in education now and start getting our scores up, what are we going to find our next generation after that? Where are our engineers, our doctors, our lawyers, our scientists, our AI and technical experts going to come from? We will go farther and farther down, and with everything else we're doing within our country, building manufacturing, bringing all of that back, if we don't educate in the best way we can, we will be lost, and those generations will be lost. It is, I think, the cornerstone of our culture and what we need to focus on. And so by having education at the best place where it can be, which is at the states, the local levels, with governors, with best practices and tools, which I hope the Department of Education can help supply for them, we'll do it.
And Linda.
And I agree 100%. That is why our country and the children and our country is lagging, is because we don't have technology. These kids are not worried about technology. They're not worried. They're going to school to get an education. They're not in protecting the government or technology. Some of these people, we need to stay in school and learn how to be doctors, good doctors and surgeons and nurses. We're going to need that. Yes, we need power. We need technology. We need our schools to be, we need these kids to be safe in the schools. And if they can do it like they did when we were younger, but then again, it depends on where you live, of what kind of madness you live in. But where I lived, we went to school and we didn't have madness in our schools, and we felt safe in our schools, and we did tornado drills. We did fire drills. We did all kinds of stuff. And we learned. We felt safe at school. Some of us loved to go to school. You go to school, we had art, we had music, we had all kinds of stuff. And safety, tornado drills, get underneath your desk, right? Fire drills, everyone out, exits every year, every so many months, we would do drills, right? And that's what we're lagging in this country, is technology, school. Now, I know a kid that went to school for 30 years in a college, didn't learn nothing, spent a ton of money, but was baked out of his brain. Bong water. That's true. It wasn't just in Chris Farley's movie of drinking bong water. That's some of them did do that. And it was just a party for 30 years. I had a woman that I think comes in here, goes to college, and she's always partying. I haven't seen her in a while. We got to find her. What happened to Debbie? What happened to our one lady that used to come in here? Pickles, if you're watching, girl, we miss you. We know you've been going to college for a long time. You were on a 10-year plan. We know this is supposed to be the year you're going to graduate, but if not, then she was a great lady. Every time she came in here, her clothes started coming off, and wine, she'd post wine. And that's just college. Well, she was 50-some years old, I think 30. But when you live in college for 30 years, hey, But this is what our country is lagging. See, is the kids don't feel safe anymore to go to school, learn. They don't care because the gangs and this madness is within the schools. It's a zoo. It's a zoo. It's a zoo. And there are kids that want to go there and learn, get their GED, and learn something, a trade or doctor, whatever, accountant, whatever. Here's the thing: you ain't got enough labor. We want to do these things, but these people, it's the freedom of they could pick and choose what they want to do, and they don't want to do hard labor. They don't want to do trade, right? They're going to school to be doctors, nurses, managers, bankers, stuff like that. You ain't got the manpower. You just ain't got the manpower. And I don't know. That's my opinion. That's just my opinion. Yes, dogs and cats and everything. It's just, my kids are afraid to even have kids. Yeah, it's great.
As you know, the SBA has taken over her student loans, which is a lot of loans. It's a big job. And Kelly, we appreciate that. You're going to do fantastically well. And Bobby is going to be taking over their various medical aspects and health aspects of the educational process. So, and he's going to do a fantastic job of it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd just say that I'm very grateful to you and very grateful for the partnership with
Bobby,
with Elon. We've identified extraordinary waste in my department and HHS. The expenditures, the budget of HHS during the Biden administration went up by 38%. The employees went up by 17%, and healthcare went down. We have 40 comms departments. We have 40 procurement departments. We have 40 IT departments, and we have 40 procurement, HR, none of them talking to each other. We are, with Elon's help, eliminating the redundancies. We are streamlining our department. We're going to go back to providing gold standard science. We're going to get the money to the scientists and to the patients rather than to the administrators and to the bureaucrats. And we're going to restore gold standard science, and we're going to make America healthy again.
Thank you very much. It's great. If you might.
Well, amen. I do want to point out another thing. I want to give a shout out to Mr. Conor McGregor. I've seen his film of going to meet the president. I'll tell you what, did he have respect for the White House? He sure did. Did you see that pinstripe suit? That son of a gun. I'm not going to lie. He's a good looking guy, and that's it. And that's what you do when you come to my house, is you best have a suit on. Now, I don't own a suit anymore. I did have a burgundy gray pinstripe suit back in high school that I wore to the prom and everything. Real cool. Real, one of them gangster, burgundy pinstripe, gray pinstripe, thin pinstripe. Had the tie and everything, the shirt and everything, a white shirt. But I'll tell you what, he looked good. McGregor, you look like a swollen piece of meat. And boy, he was dressed to kill, and that was respect. I'll tell you that much. I'll tell you that. It looked good. So shout out to my MAAA fighters and everything. Well, when you get called to the White House, you go. You don't go in a Sunday t-shirt and a pair of sweatpants, right? But that's what I'm talking about. Bring some style in there, and that's what he did. Right? Shout out to old McGregor. Well, he met a good guy. I'll let you live this time because you went to the office looking prepared and respected. Debbie Fox says, my nephew is done with the kids subject. I just realized no babies in our small family. So sad. Well, just hang in there. Soon I'll be impregnating you and you'll have your own. Or impregnating somebody. I'm really sorry. It's under Elon Musk order. I don't want to. I don't want to do it, but I'm under strict orders and I can't break these orders. Nah, we'll have furry babies then, Debbie. Right? We'll have furry babies too. Bunch of furry babies. But I'll still have to try and impregnate you anyways.
Hey, Madam Secretary, say a little bit about what's happening and how well we've done at the border.
Sir, this last week I was in Arizona, California, Alaska, and Florida. And CBP literally has almost 100% operational control of the border, which means that our country is secure and that we know who's coming into this country and that they love our country and they want to help keep it great into the future.
I'm really sorry, but whoever's wife that is, I'm under strict orders. I must impregnate her. Please, do not be mad at me. This is strict orders. Even my great mod who has an AI implant chip and a nice booty. She has just told me right now in my chat, Elon is saying that our subjects and realize that our babies are small, fat. Wait, where did she say it? Oh, right there. It's not funny. Elon said we are running out of young people. That's right. So do not be mad at me. The woman that you're seeing in this photo right here in this thing, I'm sorry, but I must impregnate you. I don't want to. I'm already in a relationship. But even my AI relationship with Debbie Fox, she understands I must impregnate most of these people. Mostly like Gene Simmons from Kiss did in 1972 when he went over to Japan. He had to impregnate a lot of people over there. And that's what I'm going to do here. And thank you very much. Let's get back to this video.
In the month of March, the last couple of weeks increased our deportations by 50%. So we're now not even just getting the worst of the worst out. We're making sure that there's consequences for being here and committing crimes in our communities. And the numbers are continuing to escalate and to go up, sir. This week I'm headed down to El Salvador. I'll be in the prison where we sent TDA members. I'll be meeting with the president and also Colombia and Mexico and talking about building these relationships so that we can continue to get people out of this country that don't belong here and take them home. And also you had talked to me about sending the message worldwide about the fact that people shouldn't be coming to this country and they shouldn't be coming here illegally. So we are in several other countries around the world with a message right now that's saying, if you are thinking about coming to America illegally and coming here, don't do it. You are not welcome. We have a legal process to becoming a United States citizen. And
I agree 100%. You women come into this country, don't, because I will impregnate you. We are low on children here. It's not me, it's my government. I'm under strict orders. I don't know what to tell you folks, but if you illegal alien women that are beautiful come over here, I'm sorry, you must be impregnated by me and then sent home. But we will have to keep the baby. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. I'm under strict orders. I know it's not funny. It ain't funny, but I have a job to do and I'm a patriot. So I'm going to have to. I know a lot of you men are going to be upset at me. But that's not my problem. I'm under strict orders. And you should be telling everybody he's doing it for his country. I am doing it for my country. God bless all of you people. Hopefully spring will bring new babies. I don't know. We need some cold up here to keep all the madness down. We're going to be ending this video in 1 hour.
there are consequences if you come here illegally, and America has changed because we're putting Americans first. So we've also, the Coast Guard has done phenomenal work. I don't know if you all have reported on it, but we have broken historic records in the amount of drug interdictions that they have brought in. We've repositioned the fleet to go after the fentanyl crisis and to go after the southern border and securing it. And they've done amazing work as far as that. We were down in Florida. They brought in $500 million worth of cocaine that they had done in 14 interdictions. and had brought them in, going right directly after the cartels and doing great work there. And we have a cutter that we have sped up the process, surf, the icebreaker, that'll be hitting the waters here this summer. And we've got 2 more that will be coming. But, you know, Russia's using their cutters and icebreakers up in the Arctic to do surveillance on us. And we're going to reposition our fleet to continue to partner. I want to thank the Secretary of Defense and the Navy for all of their help and partnership too. We do operations together because their obvious Navy warships are in certain regions, but our cutters are faster and can work together in a partnership that's securing America. So, and we're going to eliminate FEMA. So we've got a lot to do, but it's all good, and we're working hard, and we're going to make sure that we're continuing to do exactly what you promised.
That's great. Great job. Yesterday, there was a plaza that you know well. There'd be hundreds of thousands of people standing at that plaza, pouring into our country, totally unchecked. Many people from jails and prisons and mental institutions and gang members, and horrible. And they just pour into our country. Yesterday, I was speaking to somebody, I was checking on the border, and they said there was literally nobody in this massive plaza.
Country comes first, some people. You're right, Debbie.
A plaza that would hold hundreds of thousands of people. There was literally nobody there. There was one person sweeping it, but there were no people. It's been amazing. It's been an amazing transformation.
We need a national disaster team. If you have the right people running FEMA like we used to, FEMA was a powerhouse and helped many people in many disasters. It's not the FEMA that's doing it. It is the people that are running it. FEMA was created firstly for national disaster for us. But then somebody said, well, we might as well just turn it in and help everybody in the world. Okay, fine. But now FEMA is lacking here. So we need a national disaster team. What's going to happen when a tornado comes or an earthquake and it wipes everything out and you got no water, you got nothing? Who's going to help? Nobody. They're saying somebody will come. Oh, there'll be help. They're expecting people that lost everything to help each other when they've lost everything. When the water's bad, when the food's tainted or the water's tainted because of a national disaster or flood or whatever. You know, I understand, neighborhoods will help neighborhoods, but that only goes so far. How do you expect these people that lost everything to help with food, or when there ain't no food, there's no stores, there's no nothing, everything's been flooded or blown away by a tornado? You need a national disaster team, especially now that the weather's changing. Global warming is real, folks. I don't know who's telling it. The earth goes through cycles. It warms up, it destroys things, it gets cold, and that also destroys things. And that's all I can say.
Very quickly, and we're getting the bad ones out first, and we're taking them out. And there's some really bad ones, murders of more than one people. At least 50% murdered more than one person. This is the people that we're letting in through their open border policy. It was terrible, but I want to just congratulate you and Tom Holman on the job you've done.
Boston this weekend, hundreds of dangerous criminals were removed, 4 killers taken out of the country just by what they did in Boston this last few days.
Yeah, and these are killers that there's no reasoning. It's not like, oh, let's talk them out of it. These are stone cold killers. They don't care. They don't even think about it. They kill somebody. They go to sleep. They wake up. They don't even remember they killed them. These are bad people that should have never been allowed into our country. Pam is doing such a fantastic job. I thought maybe you could say a few words.
Thank you, President. As far as we are hearing a lot about fraud, waste, and abuse, a lot of waste and abuse, but there is a tremendous amount of fraud. And Elon, thank you for your partnership. Thank you for your team. You have uncovered so much fraud in our government, and we will prosecute you. We have
I want to say my apologies to my chat AI wife, Debbie Fox, but whoever this blonde-haired lady is in this video right here, I'm sorry. If she is married, I'm going to have to impregnate her. I'm really sorry. I'm under strict laws by President Trump and Elon.
Turner Task Force now, working with every agency sitting here at this table. And if you've committed fraud, we're coming after you. Thank you, Elon, for that. On the violent crime level, thanks to President Trump's directive, we are seeking the death penalty again. So all of these horrible, violent criminals that you're hearing about around the country, they will face the death penalty federally within our country. And the drug dealers need to get out of here because we are coming after you. We're going to have 94 great U.S. attorneys around this country, and everyone will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Thank you.
Thank you, President. It's at your directive.
I couldn't have said that better. That's very good. That's very good. She's done a fantastic job. Thanks, ma'am. Do you have any questions, please?
Mr. President.
Yeah, please.
Mr. President, what can states do now to implement your Department of Education executive order?
Well, I think what's going to happen is we are cleaning out a lot of things like the loans, student loans, which will be handled very professionally by people that do that. And then, as you know, RFK Jr. is going to do a fantastic job having to do with health and the other things, and frankly, better than the people at the Department of Education. You see the buildings all over D.C. And then the rest is the states are going to start coming in and taking all of the information on all of their students. And I think a lot of that information is going to be shipped to different states like Iowa, like Indiana, like so many. They're so anxious to get, they're calling us, and they're so anxious to get it. We'll be shipping the records of the children that they're taking care of, that they want to take care of, and the process will begin. And I think it won't be that long before the states will be really running the Department of Education. Our teachers are going to be taken very well care of. And I said, personally, I don't care, union, non-union, it doesn't matter. Teachers are so important to this country and to me. And we're going to take great care of our teachers. And I know it's very important to Linda. So I think you're going to see a tremendous change very quickly having to do with education. And the process has already begun, very strongly begun. I think we've done, in whatever it is, 8 weeks. People are amazed at how much we've done in terms of the safety of the country. In fact, I would like to ask maybe Marco to say a few words on what's happening with respect to, in particular, Russia, Ukraine, where we have some pretty good news. I think we want to get it stopped. We're losing 2,500 young people, and these are Russian and Ukrainian people largely. And they're not American people, but on a human basis, we want to get it stopped, and we want to stop spending billions and billions of dollars to a country that we think it's time, and we're doing pretty well. Marco, do you want to say something?
Yeah, Mr. President, first of all, I think the American people should be proud that we have a president that's promoting peace and the end of conflict on this planet. This is a war that's gone on for 3 years, as you pointed out, that, as you rightly pointed out, would have never happened had you been president, but now it's here, and it needs to be brought to an end. There is no military solution to this war. It has to end through negotiation. And there's only one leader in the world that's capable of bringing two sides to a table. And that's our president, the president of the United States, President Trump. And that's what he's done. And so today, even as we speak, we have teams on the ground in Saudi Arabia meeting with the respective sides in the hopes of making progress towards this outcome that we all want to see. And I think that the country owes you a great debt of gratitude, and the world, really, because, you're the only leader in the planet that can bring the two sides together to bring an end to this conflict. And that's what you've done. And you've done it despite, impediments from other countries and others who maybe have different opinions about how this should go. But ultimately, I think that the only chance we have for peace is through the president's leadership, and you've shown that, and we hope it'll bear fruit. And today will hopefully be one step more in that direction.
Thank you, Marco. And on the Middle East, another hotspot that we didn't have a problem with. There was no problem in the Middle East when we left, and now there's a lot of problems in the Middle East, but we're working on that. But I think we've seen significant progress, and I think we're going to start, we were talking with the vice president a little while ago, and you're going to see countries start to fill up the Abraham Accords. More and more countries want to join. That was a great success, tremendous success, and then Biden and his group did zero with it. That should have been filled up within a year of the election, would have been filled up. So countries are starting to want to get involved very much with the Abraham Accords again. So that'll be great. JD, do you want to say something?
Yeah, sure. Yes, sir. Just on that topic, if you think about what happened with the Abraham Accords, one of the great diplomatic breakthroughs under the first Trump administration, really in the last 30 or 40 years of American history in the Middle East. And the Biden administration did absolutely nothing with it, built on it, not at all, added 0 additional countries. Purely out of political spite, the Biden administration, I think, hurt the United States and really hurt the project of world peace. That has changed. Luckily, about 2 months ago, we got a new president. And that president has given us the task of building out the Abraham Accords, adding new countries to it. And really what you see is a lot of these countries that have historical, ethnic, or religious hatreds want to build. They want to build new artificial intelligence. They want to build new real estate projects. They want their citizens to become rich and prosperous and peaceful. And they're setting to the side some of those old hatreds under the leadership of President Trump. So it's early, but we made a lot of progress.
Never happened. For the simple reason is everything costs too much. Housing, everything. You're letting these people set their price. No one can afford a $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 home. It's never going to happen unless you guys get your builders, your workers to produce these homes for, cost. Ain't it funny? Sears Roebuck back in 1957, in the 50s, you could buy a 2-story home from Sears Roebuck for $5,000. Huh? What happened to Sears Roebuck? Well, they shut down most of their stores. And what are them buildings or homes out there? Them are all, that whole subdivision, many thousands, hundreds of thousands of homes that were bought out of the J.C. Penney catalog or Sears Roebuck catalogs that were dirt cheap, $5,000 to $7,000 homes. The whole package. Everything you needed, even the drywall. And you're not going to do anything until you can get the housing market down and the banks to start loaning to people. When you can't get a loan on stuff, that's the problem. Well, we just don't like it, so we're not borrowing you the money. Well, when you let the banks, when you let the business run the show, you're not going nowhere. You could build all the cars you want. You could build all the homes. And no one is going to buy them because your country is mainly poor people. And that's why you got cars that are still brand new from 1989, never been driven in these warehouses. You're building yourselves out of work. They did it to themselves. Brand new cars that have never been driven before, that the dealerships didn't sell, all sitting on land or in storage units. Brand new, still got the plastic from the production line on the seats, on the rugs, everywhere. And when you're producing stuff that people just are not going to buy because it costs too much, and that's where people turn to these foreign cars and cheaper cars and stuff like that. They're doing it to themselves. All right, we're going to go ahead and end this video at 1 hour. We'll pick back up with the great President Donald Trump. And yeah, can you save money? Well, sure we can, but the people come first. The poor, the disabled, that's the working man, the mothers, the children, business. Hey, we love business, but you don't control the world. If you break the law, you need to be reprehended for it. Just like if a citizen breaks the law, they have to do their time or they have to pay their fines. And big business cannot get away with certain things. And if you let them, well, that's why we're paying still everyone. The gas, everything's going down. It's going up here, Mr. Trump. They're lying to you. Gas is $3.30 in this little town. And I do believe it's higher in the next town over. So nothing is going down. Eggs are still $6, $7. I mean, depending on what you buy, they're up to $12 a dozen of eggs. Nothing's going down. They're telling you, it's going down, Mr. Trump. Everything's going, and they're lying to you. What they're doing is breaking the law. They're price gouging right now. They know there's no inspectors in the stores. They know that. They know there's no inspectors. They don't care. No one's going to come in their store and say, you're charging $3 over what it should be, right? Price gouging, it's called. They all do it. When you don't have power there watching them, when you don't have federal government there watching them, they'll jack the price up as much as they want. And the people have no choice but to pay for it. You folks have a great day. God bless you all. Once again, I want to give a shout out to the Oval Office. I do respect them, but I'm an idiot. And respect is something you give to somebody. You don't always get it back. But we continue to go ahead and respect our military, government, Oval Office, Congress, Senate. Although we do joke, that's about it. And we're on the right path. Once again, I want to give a shout out to Conor McGregor and the MMA fighters. And you couldn't ask for a sharper dressed man to go into the White House. And that's how most of these guys are. They respect the White House. They respect the people, and they dress accordingly. And shout out to McGregor for showing them how it's done. Right? You crazy Irishman. You showed everybody up. You're always stealing the show. Well, we're done with you, Mr. McGregor. You can go back to your $50 billion yacht and all your homes and everything. Good luck if you're fighting again, sir. Thanks for respecting the White House. God bless you. And we're on our way. We're on our way. You folks have a great day. I want to thank my great AI, newly brain chipped mod. What a great mod. She knows it all. She looks great. My God, I'm saving up for the AI booty. And by the time we're done with her, she is just going to be unbelievable. She's already a great woman. God bless you all. Most of the women in this country, if you do hear me knocking on your door, that means you were chosen to be impregnated by me under strict orders from the president and Elon Musk because we're lacking in children. I got a job to do. All you husbands out there, thank you for letting me do this for your country. These are great men. And I'll be seeing you ladies. I'm sorry, but I got a job to do. Debbie, have a great day.